In the 1950s, the American dream was powered by a single income. The father went to work, the mother stayed home, and they could afford a house, a car, and a college education for their children. Today, that dream seems impossible. Most households now have two income earners. Both parents work. They work longer hours. They are more educated. And yet, they are more likely to go bankrupt than their single-income grandparents. How is this possible? Mathematically, a dual-income family should be twice as rich. They have double the earning power. They should have double the savings, double the security, and double the freedom. But they don't. In fact, the average two-income family today has less discretionary cash at the end of the month than a single-income family did in the 1970s. This is the two-income trap, and it is the silent financial killer of the modern middle class. We tend to think that the problem is inflation or the cost of avocados or Netflix subscriptions. But the problem is structural. When families moved from one income to two, they didn't use the extra money to build wealth. They used the extra money to bid up the price of the middle-class life. To understand this, we have to look at the difference between wants and needs. In the 1970s, a family spent about 50% of their income on fixed needs: housing, food, taxes. The other 50% was discretionary. If the father lost his job, the family could cut back on the discretionary spending. They could stop eating out. They could delay buying a new car. They had a buffer. Furthermore, they had a built-in insurance policy: the stay-at-home mother. If the father got sick or lost his job, the mother could enter the workforce to bridge the gap. She was the ultimate safety net. She was a reserve army of labor that could be deployed in an emergency. Today, the two-income family has no safety net. Both parents are already working. There is no reserve labor. And worse, they have locked themselves into a cost structure that requires two incomes just to survive. They bought a house that requires two salaries to pay the mortgage. They bought two cars that require two payments. They pay for childcare that consumes a huge chunk of one salary. Their fixed costs have risen from 50% to 75%, or even 90% of their income. This means they are fragile. If one parent loses their job, the family collapses immediately. They cannot cut back on spending because their spending is locked into the mortgage and the car notes. They cannot send the other parent to work because the other parent is already working. They are driving a race car at 200 miles per hour, inches from the wall, with no brakes. So, why did we do this? Why did we use our extra wealth to build a trap? It comes down to a bidding war. The single biggest expense for most families is housing. But you aren't just buying a house. You are buying a school district. You are buying safety. When women entered the workforce en masse, household incomes doubled. But the supply of houses in good school districts did not double. So, families started bidding against each other. Family A has two incomes. They offer more for the house near the good school. Family B also has two incomes. They have to match the offer or move to a worse neighborhood. The price of the house rises to absorb the second income. The result is that the bank gets the money. The sellers get the money. The family gets the same house they would have had 40 years ago, but now they have to work twice as hard to keep it. This is called positioning consumption. We are competing for position, not for goods. If everyone stands up at a concert to get a better view, nobody sees any better than before. But now, everyone has tired legs. We have all stood up financially. We are all working harder. But our relative position hasn't changed. This trap is particularly dangerous because it feels like success. You look at your combined income of $200,000 and you think, we are rich. But you look at your bank account and you see zero. You are suffering from lifestyle inflation on a massive scale. When two people get married, they often merge their finances and immediately upgrade their lifestyle to match their combined income. They move into the luxury apartment. They lease two new cars. They go on expensive vacations. They obey Parkinson's law. Expenses rise to meet income. But they forget that two incomes come with two sets of costs. You need two wardrobes. You need two commuting costs. You need convenience food because nobody has time to cook. And the biggest cost of all, childcare. In many cities, childcare costs as much as rent. For many families, the second earner is working almost entirely to pay for the privilege of working. After you deduct taxes, childcare, commuting, and work clothes, the second salary might only be adding a few $1,000s a year to the bottom line. But the stress it adds is immeasurable. So how do we escape the two-income trap? How do we regain the security of the past without giving up the progress of the present? We have to adopt a radical financial strategy. The one-income rule. The rule is simple. You must structure your fixed expenses, your mortgage, your cars, your insurance, so that they can be covered by just one salary. The second salary should be treated as invisible. It should not exist in your monthly budget. The second salary is for two things only: wealth building and freedom. Imagine if you lived on one salary and saved 100% of the second salary. If the second earner makes $60,000 a year and you invest that for 10 years at 7%, you will have nearly $900,000. You will be a millionaire in just over 10 years without ever getting a raise, simply by not spending the second income. But more importantly, you will be invincible. If one of you loses your job, it is a non-event. You don't have to sell the house. You don't have to panic. You just stop saving for a few months while you find a new job. You have restored the safety net. This requires sacrifice. It means you cannot buy the house at the top of your budget. You have to buy the house you can afford on one salary. It means you might drive a Toyota instead of a BMW. It means you might live in a slightly smaller neighborhood. But what you lose in square footage, you gain in peace of mind. You gain the ability to walk away from a toxic boss. You gain the ability to take a sabbatical. You gain the ability to start a business. The two-income trap is a choice. It is a choice to prioritize status over security. It is a choice to prioritize the best school district over the best mental health for the parents. We have to stop competing in the bidding war. We have to step off the treadmill. There is a psychological concept called reference groups. We compare ourselves to the people we see every day. If you move into the expensive neighborhood, your neighbors are your reference group. You see their cars. You see their renovations. You feel pressure to keep up. If you stay in the modest neighborhood, you are the rich one. You have the nicest car on the block, even if it's a Honda. You have zero pressure to upgrade. By choosing the smaller house, you are hacking your own psychology. You are lowering the bar for satisfaction. The ultimate luxury in life is not a third bathroom. The ultimate luxury is knowing that you are safe. It is knowing that no matter what happens to the economy, no matter what happens to your job, your family will be okay. You cannot buy that feeling with a second income if you spend that second income. You can only buy it by saving it. If you are currently in the trap, if you are drowning in bills despite working two jobs, you need a reset. You need to audit your life. Look at your fixed costs. Are they based on one income or two? If they are based on two, you are in the danger zone. You need to downsize. You need to sell the cars. You need to cut the fat until you fit into one salary. It will feel like a step backward. Your ego will hate it. But it is actually a step forward. It is a step toward reality. The modern economy is volatile. Jobs are not guaranteed. Industries are being disrupted by AI. Relying on two incomes to pay the bills is like building a house on two pillars, where if either pillar cracks, the roof falls down. Relying on one income is building a house on a solid foundation, with a backup generator ready to go. Don't let the market dictate your lifestyle. Don't let the bidding war steal your future. Reclaim the power of the second income. Turn it from a liability into an asset. Turn it from a trap into a ladder. Because the only thing better than two incomes is one income that pays for your life, and one income that pays for your freedom.